Welcome to Derek Johanssen podcast channel for anything and everything that matters to you. We now give you our host, Derek Johanssen. Welcome to a special episode of Derek Johanssen podcast channel for anything and everything that matters to you. What do you do with toxic people in your life? And that's what we're going to talk about in this episode, which we will be referencing to an article by WebMD editorial contributors. And this subject has been medically reviewed by Dr. Brennan. First, the question is, what is a toxic person? If you know someone who's difficult and causes a lot of conflict in your life, you may be dealing with a toxic person. These people can create lots of stress and unpleasantness for you and others, not to mention emotional or even physical pain. A toxic person is anyone whose behavior adds negativity and upset to your life. Many times, people who are toxic are dealing with their own stresses and traumas. And to do this, they act in ways that do not present them in the best light and usually upset others along the way. Toxicity in people is not considered a mental disorder, but there could be underlying mental problems that cause someone to act in toxic ways, including a personality disorder. And there are some warning signs that we all need to watch out for if we think that we are dealing with a toxic person, such as the following. You feel like you're being manipulated into something that you don't want to do. You're constantly confused by the person's behavior. You feel like you deserve an apology that never comes. You always have to defend yourself to this person. You never feel fully comfortable around them. And you continually feel bad about yourself in their presence. So if you've experienced these feelings around someone, chances are they may be toxic. If you constantly have such emotions, you may want to change the relationship or stop the relationship entirely. You're tuned in to Derek Johanssen podcast channel for anything and everything that matters to you. Now, just like there are signs that you're around a toxic person because of how they make you feel, there are also signs seen in the person themselves that highlight their toxicity. The first one being inconsistency. Now, part of being human is having ups and downs, good times and bad. But a toxic person is almost never consistent. Their behavior is erratic. They don't follow through on their commitments or promises. You never know what they're going to do next. And such inconsistency is very hard when you're trying to be there for someone. They can be elated with you 1 minute and then writing you off the next. Toxic people would always need your attention. Have you noticed that the person always needs something from you? Whether it is constant phone calls, text messages, or showing up at your door, they always need emotional support. And they're probably not being supportive to you in return. They take all that you have without giving much back. They have a heightened level of self-interest, a need to showcase their own greatness to receive affirmation. And this can be associated with narcissistic personality disorder. With a toxic person, there is always drama. Have you ever noticed how drama seems to follow some people? And it's likely not a coincidence. Toxic people thrive in dramatic situations. They inflame emotions and create conflict. They love stirring the pot to see what happens. People are often toxic because they're not interested in being stable and healthy in relationships. Another aspect or another sign of a toxic person is that they do not respect your boundaries. If you have been clear with someone time and again about your needs, and they just can't help themselves but to disrespect you, they are toxic. Healthy relationships are based on trust and the ability to respect boundaries. Toxic people just can't do that. Toxic people also manipulate others for what they want. Have you ever felt like you're being taken advantage of, manipulated? Toxic people love to manipulate those around them to get what they want. This means lying, bending the truth, exaggerating, or leaving out information so that you take a certain action or have a certain opinion of them. They will do whatever it takes, even if it means hurting people. Another sign of a toxic person could be something that we may not see a lot of times, but toxic people may also abuse substances, like drugs and alcohol. These behaviors become toxic when the person is continually harming other people, not to mention their own selves. You're tuned in to Derek Johanssen podcast channel for anything and everything that matters to you. Now that you know the signs of a toxic person, both in the way that you feel and how they act, you still may not know what to do about it. And there are a few strategies that you can try. The first being, confront them. As soon as you notice toxic behaviors, confront the person. Call them out on any lies or inconsistencies. Tell them that you don't appreciate how they behave. This shows them that you are paying attention and you're giving them a chance to explain themselves or apologize. You may also want to set stricter boundaries. If you are in a situation where you must have a toxic person in your life, try to set stricter boundaries. For example, if someone is abusing substances and it causes them to harm you or others, let them know that you won't see them unless they're sober. Make it clear that you won't tolerate their overly dramatic behavior or spreading rumors about people. Limit the time that you spend with them until they can change. And lastly, you can cut them out of your life if that is the last thing that you need to resort to. So if the other strategies that we've mentioned didn't work and caused even more pain, abuse, or dishonesty, it is time to let the toxic person go. Because sometimes there is nothing to do but stand up for yourself and move on. Thank you for tuning in to Derek Johanssen podcast channel. Take care and join us again on our next episode.